What's going on, guys? Welcome back. My name is Dustin, and last time we were here, what we did is we made this simple, basic little health bar for our player that reflects a number value for our health, and then also when we get hit, it drops in amount filled until our player dies. Today, what I want to do is I want to make it so that it's a little bit more noticeable for our player to know that he's getting hurt, other than just their health going down. So what I want to happen is every time I get hit by our skeleton guy here, I want our character to flash, just to kind of show that he got hurt. So the way that I'm going to do that is we're going to go into our health manager script here. And since we already have this hurt player function here on our health manager script, we're just going to kind of tie into that. So first thing that I want to do is I want to go up here and I want to create a couple of variables. We're going to make a private bool called flash active. So right away what I want to do is whenever we're getting hurt, whenever we're going to receive help or receive damage, I just want to say flash active equals true. So from there, what I want to do is let's go ahead and make another variable up here. We're going to say private float flash length. And that's going to be how long our flash is going to be flashing for. Let's go ahead and set that to a default of 0f. And then we're also going to have a private float flash counter. And this is going to be basically our counter for how long it's flashing for. So we're going to set that to 0f really quick. In this flash counter, this is going to basically count down from however long we want the flash to be active down to 0. So our flash length, I'm going to go ahead and make this serializable so that we can change it in Unity, and we can kind of test how long we want this flash to go for. So now what I want to do is I want the flash counter to be the same length as the flash length. So when we set the flash to active in our hurt player, I just want to say flash length is equal to flash counter, just like that. I'm sorry, I did that backwards actually. I want to say flash counter is equal to the flash length, because I want to make sure that the flash counter gets reset to however long our flash length is going to be, not the other way around. So, and that with a semicolon. So now what I want to do is I want to go into the update function, and we're going to say if the flash is active, then we want to do something. First, I want to check to see if we're no longer flashing, so we're going to say if flash counter is less than or equal to 0, then what we want to do is we want to say flash active equals false. Just like that. Because we don't want it to be flashing anymore. So Now what I want to do is I want to make this flash happen. So the way we're going to do this is if we go into our player and we look at its components over here, it has this component called the sprite renderer. And this sprite renderer basically controls the image on the player itself, and it has this color section here. If we click the color, it has this alpha channel that goes all the way from 255 down to 0, and if you notice when we change it to 0, our player disappears. So what I want to do is in our update function is change this alpha channel here from 255 to 0 and back, and it's just going to create this little flash effect. So, but the way that we have to do this is in our script, we can only reference this as 0 and 1 being full. So 1 basically saying it's at 100% of whatever this total number is. So 1 being 255, 0.5 being whatever half of 255 is, 227 or something like that, and 0 being 0. So what we need to do is we need to go in here. So first off, when our flash counter is less than 0 and our flash active is no longer true, I want to make sure that our alpha is set to 1, basically saying that it's fully turned on. So what we're going to do is we are going to get a reference to that sprite renderer. So up here we're going to say private sprite renderer, and we're going to call this player sprite. And then in our start function, we're going to tell it what the sprite renderer is. We're going to say player sprite is equal to get component, and the component is the sprite renderer. Just like that. So now that we have a reference to our sprite renderer, we're going to say, not here, right here in our update function, we're going to say player sprite dot color is equal to a new color, and then in these brackets we basically got to tell it all of the colors that we want to change. It's going to ask for all 4 of these for red, green, blue, and the alpha channel. So what we need to do is we don't want to change the red, green, or blue at all here. We only want to change the alpha. So we're going to say that the new color for the red is going to be player sprite dot color dot R. For our green, we're just going to say player sprite dot color dot G, because we don't want to change these at all. And then for blue, we're going to say player sprite dot color dot B. Just so that all of those stay the same. We don't want to make any changes to them. And for the 4th color, which is our alpha, we're just going to say 0F, like that. And that'll change it straight to 0. But we don't want it to be 0, we want it to be 1, because our flash is no longer active and we would like to be able to see our player. So now, what I want to do is everything else that controls the flash itself. So inside flash active, outside of if flash counter is less than or equal to 0, we're going to do another check. We're going to say if our flash counter is greater than our flash length times 0.99F. So what we're doing here is, let's say our flash length is 1 second long. We're saying that if our flash counter, as it's counting down, if it's greater than the flash length times 0.99, which is 99 hundredths of 1 second, basically the flash just started, then we're going to do something. What we're going to do is we're going to say, or I'm actually going to just copy this whole line right here, just so I don't have to type all of that out again. I'm going to paste it right there. So the first thing we want it to do is go to 0, like that. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to say else if the flash counter is greater than flash length times 0.82f, which is going to be 82 hundredths of 1. Then we're going to paste that line of code in again, and we can just leave that at 1 so that it flashes back to being visible. Next, what I want to do, I want to say else if our flash counter is greater than our flash length times 0.66f, and we're going to paste this line of code in again, and we want it to go back to 0. And so basically what I'm doing here is I'm breaking this, assuming flash length is 1 second. I'm basically breaking this up into sixths of a second. So every sixth of a second, I want it to change its alpha channel. So I'm going to do all of it. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and copy all of this so I don't have to type it out again. So I'm going to copy that and then just paste it all in right below it. I'm going to change 66 to 0.49 with only 1 point. And we're going to change this back to 1f. I'm going to paste it, the whole deal in again. Change this to 0.33, and we can leave that at 0. I'm going to paste that entire line in one more time, and then we're going to say 0.16, and this is going to be 1. And then I'm just going to go down here and paste this in one last time. And this time I'm going to just take all of this out and just say if the flash counter is greater than 0. We're going to set the alpha to 0. So now what I can actually do is I can erase all of this right here, and I can just loop this into basically the same check just by saying if none of this is happening, then else this will happen. Just like that. And that is really, I think, all we need to do here to get this flash going. Actually, we need to just underneath all of this here, we are going to start the flash counter itself. So we just say flash counter minus equals time dot delta time. And let's go ahead and save that. Go back into Unity, wait for it to compile, and now on our player, we scroll down to find the health manager. We now have this flash length here because we made it a serialized field. Since we were talking about making this 1 second long, let's just go ahead and set that to 1 second and see how that works. I'm going to go ahead and bring his health up a bunch so that we can just kind of test this out. Hit play, and let's see what happens. So we can walk up to our guy, and look at that, he flashes. Nice. So I feel like it's kind of long, so I'm going, actually I want to get this guy's range over here. I'm going to set this to, let's say, 0.5 and see how that looks. And we're going to still have the same amount of flashes, but they're going to be faster flashes in a shorter period of time. I like that a lot more. So I think we are going to leave it at 0.5 like that. Yep, alright, I am happy with that. So I think that's all we're going to do today. If you are enjoying this series, please be sure to like and subscribe down below. Make sure you hit that bell notification icon so you can get notified whenever I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the series. Let me know if you want to see something in the series, add something to it. Let me know if you have a better way of doing certain things. This particular one, I feel like this is kind of a clunky way of giving this little flash effect. If you have a better way of doing this, I would love to know, and maybe I can do a video on how that can be implemented in this series. But until next time, I will see you next time.